Well, if you're interested in growing your store, this is the webinar that might be able to help you with this. Welcome, everybody. My name is Charles Owen with Paladin Data Corporation. And we're going to jump right into the presentation. Just want to mention a couple things. One, we are recording this. You will be able to watch it. So if you get interrupted at checkout and you can't continue watching, you can always pick it up later. And you can also share this with other folks as well. In addition to that, we're just going to go through probably 30 minutes or so. This presentation is about getting back to the basics. You know, oftentimes we kind of lose focus on generating more business as we get tied up into current processes and different things that we're doing at the store. And oftentimes we just need to take a step back and look at some of the building blocks of retailing. So what you're going to learn today is we're going to learn about today's retailing model, the retail success building blocks, the advantages of a customer loyalty program. If you're not using one today, it's very beneficial. The importance of planning, why that's important, and some simple ways to grow your business. So I actually give you some examples and anecdotes as to how you can grow your business. So there's a lot in this presentation. There's just a lot to cover. We'll get started real quickly here, but I just wanted to mention to you, don't be overwhelmed by this. Just take one or two of these tips and run with it. And then, next year, maybe take another one of these suggestions and run with it. But we're going to go over all this material right now, and the advantages of retail technology solutions we will also cover as well. So we're going to talk about, in particular, Paladin, but also how any technology solution can help you to grow your store. So today's retailing model, it's the information age, folks, right? We know that every customer has unlimited knowledge of every product that you sell right at their fingertips. Products, prices, sales, availability, product reviews, these are things that they have access to. So their expectations are much higher as well. They want to make sure that you're not ripping them off, that you're giving them the best deal that there is. And they want instant gratification. It just seems to be everything, right? Everything is our fingertips. We have the worldwide library, Google, we have AI, we have all of these tools where we can get information. So we have to make sure that, we perform for the customer and that we give them the information they're looking for. And also they have more choices and cheaper options as well. They don't even have to get dressed to shop anymore. They can just get up in the morning and sit down at their desk in their pajamas and start shopping away. It's pretty crazy out there. People still like retail though. That's a good thing. We haven't, that was the big scare initially, was the web will take all sales, and in fact, it's not the case. Retailers must be proactive and responsive to the needs of their customers. So this is all really important to know, just basic knowledge. Let's move on to the next slide. So what about the evolution of retail? I found this slide a while back, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And what kind of relates to this is the saying, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but rather the one that's most adaptable to change. So that's really important. And the goal in retail is to provide customers with the latest in products and services in order to level the playing field and take back the customers that those other stores might be taking from you. And you do that with excellent service. Add-on services. So you'll want to enhance the consumer shopping experience, right? And we do that through a faster checkout process. The items are easier to get a hold of. They're clean, they're organized, they're properly labeled, and you have excellent customer service. You've got the people that are taking a real interest in making sure that their customers, your customers, are in fact helped when they walk in the store, that you can lead them to the information and the item that they need. And just, that's really important. Offer conveniences and savings. So as a convenience to our customer, if you know who the customer is and you have them tracked in your system, you've got historical lookups. They don't necessarily need a receipt anymore to return an item because you've got it right at your fingertips. Just go to their name, look at the history, boom, there's everything that they ever purchased from Paladin. in the Paladin system. Custom promotions, you can actually have discounts and trade discounts and BOGOs and other things that favor certain customers and a certain level of shopping customers. You can give them preferential treatment. So if they're a big shopper, they're there all the time, you've got tremendous amount of sales annually from them. You can really customize the pricing so that they're incentivized to come back and continue shopping at your store. You don't want to lose them. And remember the 80-20 rule, 20% of your customers drive 80% of your business. That's just seems to be the status quo here. E-commerce, how does that work into it? Well, the internet is your friend. You want to drive revenue, whether your customers are online or in line. And you can do this by not having to invest a lot into e-commerce. Now, the good news is there's a lot of suppliers out there that are providing the service for you. So some of the big suppliers, the ones that are just there to help you, they have a website in some cases where they can view and peer into your inventory in the store through their supplier website, through their supplier e-commerce site. But if you don't have that, and if you don't want to participate in that, you can always create your own website and put a brochure up on the internet. But what some people have done is they've leveraged existing branded stores. So they got the eyeballs already, Amazon, eBay, and so forth, where they can actually offer products on there. And you can just go ahead and start selling 1, 2, 3, 4 items. And then from there, it can help build your brand. You can have that link on your website that goes to the Amazon store or eBay store. And this will enable you to do a number of things. There's a couple of reasons why people want a website, right? One is you want to expand your customer reach. 2 is you want to provide additional services to your existing clients, which is a big focus that we're going to talk about in a minute here. So the benefits of e-commerce is extends your customer reach, allows you to compete more effectively, offers more buying options, and lets you branch out without a significant investment in capital. I'm not saying that it's cheap, because it can be very expensive depending on which route you take to push your items up onto an e-commerce site. All right, so here we are, retailing success building blocks. So this is something I put together. I used to give this presentation at different seminars. You may have already seen it. It's great as a refresher to watch this. But some of the things that I've discovered over the years, and I've got a lot of them behind me now, is that the success building blocks have to do with customers. Hey, go figure, that's a new one. Customer is everything, right? So if you can enhance the customer experience, that's going to help you maintain your current customers and hopefully win over new customers. Change and adapt. You have to adapt your store, your sales, the way that people interact and shop in your store is all really important. Lead by example. Extremely important to lead by example. What I mean by that is I believe your employees will treat your customers the same way you treat your employees and customers. So it's important to lead by example, to always be that nurturing consultant, if you will, for both your employees and your customers. In-store marketing is also another big one, and this is lost. This is a lost art. It used to go down the shopping aisles, and at the end cap there'd be a little video playing, and it would be motion sensor, so it would sense you there, and it would just start playing. There are also billboards in your stores, things to engage the customer and also lead them to a sale. Big one, focus on selling. How often are we just myopically focused on getting the best deal on products? I've always, Grandpa always said, buy low, sell high. Yeah, that's really important, but it's a different world today. We are in a world of competition. Again, people don't have to put their clothes on to shop and buy products. So you really have to, focus on the selling component, and yeah, so less focus on buying, more focus on selling. And if you can engage the customer and get them to buy more products, that's going to make up for whatever margins you're missing. Planning and execution is extremely important as well. So if you're a new store, you know this too well. You know, if you didn't plan well and you open a new store, you're kind of winging it and things are kind of falling into place, but it might take a while. Whereas if you have a plan and you share that plan, it's going to really be beneficial for you. We're going to deep dive into that just a little bit. Some of the success, retail success, is 100% contributed to your customers. All your marketing, all your purchasing goes into your customers. Your customers are the only ones responsible for sales in your store. Hey, if you didn't know this already, your customers are the ones that are responsible for your success. You know, they're the only ones that can increase sales. Now you can prompt them and incentivize them, but you can have nice stocked items with everything that they need. You can have the right prices on there and have it just beautiful, all set up, full on inventory. But if your customers aren't shopping, if they aren't buying things, if those items aren't turning, that's a problem. So we can do things like to maintain sales, focus on customer retention. You know, take care of your customers, or someone else will. And the days you lose a customer are very, very bad days. And we've all seen this happen. As a consumer, I walk into the store, take my cart. If I go over to an area and there's a product that I need and it isn't there, hey, I'm telling you what, you know, I might try talking to the manager and see if they have some in stock somewhere else that hasn't been quite put away. But more than likely, if I have to drive another 10 miles to a big box store to buy something, I'm just going to leave the cart and walk away. That's what I mean by a bad day. You don't want that to happen, and you definitely don't want it to occur on multiple occasions, because then you could permanently lose your customer, or at minimum, they not put you first on their shopping stops. All right, so what are the rewards of the customer loyalty program? You're probably thinking, yeah, it's not really right. We're not in the right neighborhood. We're a kind of a close-knit, you know, town, and hey, customer loyalty programs work. All right, there's just a number of different things that you can do to take advantage of this, right? So what are some of the advantages? The customers feel connected and they have a sense of belonging. It improves the personalized shopping experience. It provides added conveniences. The customers are more likely to reciprocate with you. You know, if you give them a deal, you know, they might do a few things for you as well. Like, number one, they might drive a little further to your store. They might put up with a few more prices that are a little bit higher than, you know, across the street or across town. They might even put up with a cashier having a bad day. But if you don't have that stickiness to your store where they're actually having a frequent flyer card, you're at risk, right? And we're going to show why that's so important right after this. The main advantage of a loyalty program is you're collecting information. So you're understanding and you're getting to know your customers better, and you've got all this rich material, so you can do targeted marketing campaigns, which is really pretty amazing. So I mentioned alluded to the fact that, you know, take care of your existing customers. Why? Because it's a lot more expensive to acquire new customers. You probably know this. You've done a lot of blind marketing. You've done a lot of, you know, the shotgun approach, I call it, where you're just shooting up in the air with a bunch of BBs hoping they'll hit something. That's expensive, and the cost to acquire a new customer is typically 5 to 7 times more than just putting the effort into maintaining an existing customer. Extremely important. Just a fun fact. So some other fun facts, customer loyalty factor. So if you are in a situation where customers are just coming in because you're in the right spot at the right time, that's called, you know, transactional sales. You happen to be in the right location, it's convenient, people are going to go there. They're not looking for price bargains, they're not looking for the best customer service, they're just accomplishing a goal, right? The next level down, you have a satisfactory purchase experience. That is where you provide more, you're more than just a transactional convenient location. You provide good service and you have good selection and good prices. Now the next level down is the emotional connection, where you have that loyalty. Again, that sense of belonging to your store. They recommend you. They'll pay higher prices. They'll drive further. These are things that happy customers do because they want to support you. Satisfied customers are your best salespeople as well. Doesn't take much for something bad to happen in the store, right? Somebody has a bad day, they bark at some customer, or they don't have the product in stock, or it's always a different price at checkout than what's on the label. Those can lose your customers. But if you have and a lot of people talk about the negative aspects, but as soon as you win somebody over, all of a sudden that negativity goes away. They only say good things. So it's really important. You can work on social media, to help enhance your experience. Offer educational how-to seminars. There's a lot of ladies' nights on Wednesday where you're going to show the ladies how they can put together some vases of flowers, or do even tiling work, or anything. The women today, they can do anything a man can do, and you need to market to them, because quite frankly, they're a big part of that, part of your sales, right? Incentivize customers to participate in referral programs. Engage in community activities. Put your logo on the Little League team. There's just lots of things that you can do to get customers to continue being in the face of your customers and in front of them. And a loyalty program is just a really good way. All right, let's move on to the importance of planning. Planning and execution is extremely important. Difference between success and failure is execution, right? But you got to plan first. Now, I mentioned in the beginning this about if you have a new store and you're kind of winging it, you're learning that, hey, it would have been really nice to have this planned out. So develop a detailed success plan. Have your growth goals and objectives laid out. Incorporate revisions to keep up with the new requirements. Make them measurable targets. Share those plans, make them accountable, make you accountable, and then celebrate. You've got to do all of these things in order to embrace the planning. If you just write something down, it becomes the path of least resistance. I think we all have heard this in motivational speeches. Hey, just write it down and it will happen. Well, it takes a little bit more than that, but it does help etch it into your subconscious. And if it's in your subconscious, it's going to happen. And now you take it to the next level where you share it with your employees and share it with your family, share it with your customers. You're now accountable, and it will definitely be the path of least resistance, because any other direction you go, you're going to hear about it. So planning is extremely important. Now, we do have a plan that you can go to as a resource. I'll throw it in now. I'll try to remember at the end and throw it in there as well. It's called Retail Science. If you go to paladinpointofsale.com, at the top it says websites, click on that, and there's a Retail Science screen. You go to Retail Science, and there's multiple forms on projects, on goals, on goal setting, and a GMROI worksheet, and some other materials, succession planning, all different types of things that you can do. It's under the Retailer's Toolbox under Retail Science. All right, so I've mentioned most of these things. It forces you to stay focused, it motivates you to take action, provides a filter for other opportunities, helps you overcome resistance, and enables you to see and celebrate your progress. Those who write their goals accomplish significantly more than those who do not write their goals. That was by some professor at Dominican University. But it's just basic true. All right, some simple ways to grow your business. So now we get into the anecdote on how, different things and different examples on how we can grow your business. So one of those is, hey, focus on B2B. Do you know how much money your B2B or your businesses are buying from you? Your local businesses, like your property managers, other stores, other institutions, government, educational, and that sort of thing. And contractors, obviously your hardware store, more than likely you want contractors to use your store. Well, you can do that by providing incentives, right? You can say, hey, I know you get 10% off your Lowe's and your Home Depot thing. We're going to give you 12%, and on certain items, we're going to have a markup on our costs. So now you're even getting better savings, and we're going to be able to track your sales and your projects. And if you want any of this information, we can provide it in a skinny minute. You just tell us what you want, and we can either email it to you or print it out and give it to you, whether it be copies of transactions, what you did over the last year in business, all the projects that you have and all the invoices for those projects. These are all things that you can provide to the business. Now, if you're not going out and soliciting businesses in your town, you're missing a big chunk of business. Bring in some flyers. Say, hey, here you go. You know, for the first event, you sign up for our awards program, you get $10. That's forced enough people to walk through your doors. And $10 to acquire a new customer is nothing. It is literally nothing. So it's really important to do that. And then get involved in the community, join local business network groups. You probably already do this today, but if you don't, it's nice to consider. Now, maybe you've been in business for 50 years and you don't think this is necessary. It's probably not if you're not interested in like just growing your business exponentially over the next coming years. You know, you might want to do this for your offspring, you know, your kids, as a succession plan. You want them to take over the store. Yeah, sometimes that's wishful thinking because a lot of kids don't want to. They've seen how hard you work, but it's an excellent opportunity for that. Manage your customers' jobs, you know, and projects. Provide historical business reports, like I mentioned, and also let them. You know, you can build quotes and give them quotes, and you can do unpriced quotes as well. And so you can put together quotes, give them to them, and all they have is total. They don't know how much the individual items are, so they're not going to shop around. All right, next, customer service. You know, we all know this, right? Well, we all know it, but we all don't practice it. I'm telling you. You know how you know? Go onto Google and look at your look at the feedback, look at the comments on your store. You know, some of those are really alarming, right? Where they say, you know, they never have the right products. I don't like their attitude. I literally left the store. I mean, these are bad things to say, but more than likely, there's a lot of good things, a lot of positive too, 9s and 10s out there. That's what you should be striving for. And if you see comments on Google or on Yelp or wherever else, definitely correct them, you know, address them in public, meaning respond to it and say, gosh, it was a bad day, you know, just received a huge shipment and we didn't have any, you know, 8 people were out with COVID, you know, whatever it is. Don't make excuses, but just tell them that you'll try better next time. Train your employees on proper customer etiquette. You know, there's a lot of employees, they don't really care that you're selling. They just need a paycheck. So train them how to address the customer, how to treat the customers. You know, as I mentioned very early on, I said employees will treat your customers the way they are treated and the way the owner or the managers treat the customers. Cultivate a pleasant and respectful in-store attitude, right? This is a war zone. You got to control your front lines. So if your least experienced people with the least knowledge and everything are at your checkout stations, you got to train them on how to be courteous and kind and give them that proper customer etiquette. You know, continue changing and improving your practices. Continued education as well. You can get a number of online different services that provide training capabilities. I go to Udemy, UDEMY. Udemy is a place where they have training sessions on everything, and it's very inexpensive, from, you know, $4.95 a webinar to, you know, hundreds of dollars a webinar, or not really a webinar, but a training video. Use it. In-store marketing is another piece, and I mentioned, you know, the art of multimedia. It should be everywhere right now, but it isn't. But if you notice in this little picture, it shows a big monitor up on the screen. Well, you can do things like promote your in-store sales, promote your items that are impulse items right there at the counter. You know, you can advertise for them. They go, oh yeah, I forgot I needed one of those. I didn't really know I needed one until I saw it. You can also do things like on a big monitor with, at least with Paladin, you can split the screen into multiple areas where you have on one part of the screen and one corner of the screen, you have the actual transaction that's ringing up on Paladin. You can see it ringing up. You don't have to have a pull display, and you don't have to have a separate tablet. You can just put it right up there. If you're interested in that, search for POS billboards in our knowledge base, and I think you'll find information on that. If not, give me a call, but it should be both a webinar and, I believe, a knowledge base article. Yeah, this just enhances the customer shopping experience, gives them more information. Manufacturers can help you out with this, by the way, because they provide the DVDs that, in some cases, that will help sell products. There was an example of a gentleman who said, he spoke of one of the seminars I was delivering. He stood up and he said, I didn't believe in this. I didn't think it was real. And then I got a disc from my manufacturer. I put it up there. I didn't see any more sales. I wasn't really paying attention, but I knew it worked because as soon as that DVD player busted, it broke, they noticed a real decline in sales on that particular product. So they got that DVD fixed pronto, and all of a sudden they were selling those products again. So if you have certain niche markets that you're catering to, and there's certain items that people need, they need it, make a video. Stick it on, next to the item. Those are just different ways that you can add multimedia. So reduce and expand. So this is all about depth and breadth of product, right? It also has to do with employees. We don't like to talk about it, but hey, it's been really challenging getting good help, and I know it's getting a little bit better and a little easier to find good people. But what we want to focus here on is your depth and breadth of product. If you have items and you can identify it with any technology solution, you should be able to identify slow movers, items that aren't moving. Let's get rid of those so that we can replace it with something that does turn, because it's all about GMROI per square inch, right? That's how the big stores do it. They say, hey, this real estate, this little 1 foot or 6 inches of real estate on our shelving is really important. We got to make sure that items are selling that we put there. And you need to do the same thing. You need to be proactive about identifying items that just aren't turning, aren't moving. And I don't care what your supplier says, sorry, Mr. Mrs. Supplier, but if they're telling you, you got to stock your store with all of the stuff, if you do, you'll be successful. And you will be, I'm sure of it, because they do all kinds of studies. But it depends on a lot of different factors: geographical location, the niche market you're in. You might want to replace some of those recommended products if they're not turning with other products that you think would sell. All right, there we go. So increase your product breadth. If you've got more products, more lines of products, well, you're going to appeal to more people. That's just the bottom line. I went into a hardware store recently that was, right on the coast of Florida, and they accommodated everything. They accommodated the beachgoer, the fisherman, the home do-it-yourselfer, the contractors. They even had a bunch of other really cool stuff like these wind chimes and other garden items, and it was pretty amazing. And I felt real comfortable. I ended up buying a lot of stuff at that particular store. So, it's a good thing to look at breadth of product, and only you know what can move and what can't move. I guess check with your supplier, because there might be reports that they can get you that say, hey, these items are successfully moving in stores in your geographical area. There's also other services out there as well. And again, your technology provider should be able to provide this information. I know Paladin does. Well, let's get down to the last part here. I promised 30 minutes. We're at 30 minutes. I'll go through this relatively quickly. The advantages of point of sale system, I think you all know. Most of you probably on the phone are current customers of ours. If you're a prospect, welcome. We, promote that sort of thing. It provides for a billboard infrastructure, as we talked about, integration with financial systems and other systems. We have over 150 plus integrations today with other software products and suppliers. You can use a smartphone to sell from the store, easily process multiple payment types, on-demand customer purchase tracking and historical lookup, inventory controls, accounts receivables, business reporting, customer loyalty programs, electronic data interchange with supplier, and of course, we help with credit card PCI compliance. Automate the customer nurturing process, put the power of the data to work, meaning leverage the information that you captured about your customers. You know their buying habits, you know what they're buying, you know who's buying. All that information turned into data that you can put to work for you. Create a couple of mailing campaigns, direct mailing, emailing campaigns through a lot of third-party companies. You can do that. All right, yeah, turn your customer information into customer intimacy. That's basically the bottom line there. And then they can help you focus on selling, because you're investing a lot of time probably today. Even if you have a point of sale solution, you're still probably investing a lot of time on buying products. And if you can offload some of those responsibilities onto the technology by using suggested ordering, we have a method that we can easily get you on suggested ordering. 50% of you use it, 50% of you are tinkering with it, haven't quite made the jump yet, but it's easy enough to do. We show you an easy day-to-day process that you can start implementing suggested ordering tomorrow, honestly. Yeah, you're in the business of selling, not buying. Let the computer do the ordering. And we mentioned here about holding on the margins can erode your business. Right, it's true, right? You just don't want, you want to compete on every level. And it is important to buy items that are at a lower cost, but a lot of times that comes with a price. The price is, I got to buy a lot of it. Well, therein lies the problem, where your gross margin return on investments start to plummet as soon as you make an overstock investment. So be cognizant of those non-performing assets. All right, so buy what you need, no more, just-in-time ordering, sell products with a wider breadth of products. Yep. And then the primary benefits: enhances the customer buying experience. Bottom line, faster checkout, track sales history and performance, integrated customer rewards program, professional receipts, label statements, and signs. Helps to reduce human error, gives a higher level of professionalism than just writing down on a 3-part form that you're tearing off. Provides secure credit card transaction processing and easy ordering. All right, we're at the question and answer, and I have a window with all the questions here, and so far I'm not seeing anything. So if that's the case, let's jump to learn more. So there's a number of different articles, webinars that you can go to learn more. You also have us as well to help walk you through this process. The next webinar is on failover. So, it's kind of a crazy world. We're seeing a lot of weather that's affecting stores' computers. We're seeing big servers go down over, across the nation, and credit card issues and other things. What do? You gotta plan for this, guys, because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen, because it will happen. And I'll tell you what, it's a bad day when your data gets destroyed and you're not able to reconstruct it. It's a bad day when your customers are coming in saying, why can't you take my credit card? These are all times when you need to be prepared for this. We're going to talk about this on September 19th. I've got to put this together, and I have a lot of ideas on what you need to do, but definitely stay tuned for that next time. Again, thank you for attending. I don't see any questions at all here. So let me just check one other spot. Yeah, we're good to go, folks. Thank you so much. Listen, just the fact that you're here tells me that you have a yearning to learn more about Paladin, to understand more about your business, and to grow your business. We really appreciate that. That's what we like. And there's a number of different resources and tools that you have on the Paladin point of sale. I talked about retail science. We also have the webinars and knowledge base articles. And of course, we have a store there too. If you want to buy something, why not? I'll put a plug in for the store. All right, folks. Hey, listen, God bless you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And until next time, be safe.